to get divorced is very expensive, and I was just wondering what Carl's opinion on, instead of asking permission to get divorced, is to just put in an affidavit or a notice that, basically that we declare in good faith that we are sound mind, and we just want to give them notice that, that our marriage is nullified. And I wanted to see what Carl's opinion is of that kind of approach.
Did they have, you said, how much is it to get divorced, you're saying?
Well, if you use lawyers, it can go into the thousands, but just the court fee is $450. But they have all these hoops you have to jump through and papers you have to fill in. I've been battling just to find out if I did want to just there's notice. They've given me a runaround. I can't even find where I can just put this into a file, So it's been difficult.
Okay. Yeah, so they said that they, and what is the purpose of getting divorced? What are you trying to accomplish by making it known? You see what I'm saying? It's known to the world that you're divorced.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a question of, doing the right thing, just letting them, and it's basically that legal, we are separated. My ex has a lot of debt. I have no debt, but we have no property. We have no children. It's really just, a very easy, we really just want to let the state know that we're separated, so that, because a lot of people keep on advising me that half of his debt could become mine, and, so I just wanted to basically, give notice that it's done, or I don't know, that's why I wanted to talk to you about it. I just wanted to see how you approach it.
Yeah, because like I said, if there's no marital assets, nobody's arguing about who gets what. Nobody's arguing about who gets what, right?
No.
You just want to go separate ways.
Exactly. We both want it. It's friendly. It's just cut it, and we just want to let them know. But my friends are saying, you live in California, you're liable for half of his debts, and he runs up credit cards day and night.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And you just don't want to be held liable for his debt.
Yeah, so whatever, back then we asked permission and we got the license, and so whatever that is, I just thought it would be a good idea to let them know, well, it's no longer like that. But I don't want to go ask them permission, please, can we get divorced? And they want to, you must see the forms you have to fill in. You have to tell them how much money you have, what's your bank account. They want to know everything about you, and I just don't feel why I should do this. And unless you give that, they won't grant you the divorce.
So what you're saying is, in the state of California, it's $450, even if both parties show up in court and they just say, we just want, just a default divorce, they don't want that much money.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting. First of all, if you go to the courts and you start talking to these people, it's literally what you've been saying on your calls. Each person is only trained for that one thing that they do all day. If you ask them any question outside of that little box, they don't know what you're doing. They send me from court to court. Eventually, I wrote the affidavit, and I was driving to the different courts where you registered, where you go get the licenses, and they don't even know. They just say, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. So I have been trying just to find out from the courts themselves where I can go, where can I, nobody knows anything. So I don't know, I found an address on the marriage certificate, and I eventually felt like I'm just going to send them the notice.
Well,
because they are the ones that registered it.
Well, one of the best things that's funny is if you had a secretary, is supposed to find this information out for you, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I tell people all the time is, Canada or the United States, I tell them all the time, just make a very simple question to the Secretary of State. And the Secretary of State will say, you know what, honestly, I don't have a clue, but you know what, I'll send it over to the Department of Justice, or I'll send it over to the Court Division, or I'll send it over to Homeland Security, or I'll send it over to the Department of Motor Vehicles. And the man who works there, his name is Bob. He's in charge, and I'll direct you can direct all your further questions to him.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so the Secretary of State, see, because the governor is supposed to represent the people, and then the Secretary of State is supposed to be like the Secretary of the Governor, who represents the people, so the Secretary is supposed to represent the people.
Oh.
So usually it's very simple. I just write a nice little simple letter to the Secretary of State. It says, hey, I believe you're the Secretary of State. Hi Susie, hi Bob. I believe you're the Secretary of State. I have a very simple question. I am trying to find the correct agency here in the state of California in which could just handle a simple divorce. Both parties, wish to have the state take notice that we are no longer obligated for each other's debts, and what would be the proper agency to communicate with to, move this action forward. Something just simple like that.
Yes, brilliant. And then I can just send it to them.
Yeah, just say kind regards, and they'll say, honestly, that's not. They'll say, hi Susie, whatever your name is. I'm Bob, and honestly, I do not know that answer, but I know there's an agency here in the state of California known as whatever, the Judiciary, or known as the Office of the Interior, or known as whatever, and
right.
This is what they specialize in. The man's name who runs that as commissioner, his name is Joe, and so if you wish to communicate any further with the state of California, go through the Office of the Interior, and ask for Joe, and Joe will direct you from there.
Okay.
They write back really quick. They write back in 2-3 days. They don't drag it on and on.
Okay. Yeah, because the certificate of vital record is the active registrar county clerk. Register recorder county clerk.
The Secretary of State's office is massive, so believe me, they'll have somebody in there who will be able to answer that question for you really quickly.
Thank you. And what was your thinking when you said, why do you want to put that in the public notice? I was just trying to understand your thinking. It's just like you don't feel like you don't need to give them any notice?
What is anybody's business? What's anybody's business? Who I sleep with, and what I sleep with, and when I sleep with them, or when I don't live or do live with them? What's it anybody's business to the world? Okay. I honestly can't guess if you're divorced. What does it have to do with anybody out in the public other than you and your husband?
Right, exactly. That's how I feel. But if they ever had to come to you for your wife's death, what would you do?
I'd say, who are you looking for? It's like, I'm looking for Linda. I'm looking for Mary. I'm looking for Lori. I was like, yeah, and? What does that have to do with me? It's like, you married these women. Yeah. Well, you never divorced them. That's right. Well, you got to pay their debt. Who's talking to me again? It's like, the Bank of America. You don't look like Bank of America. You don't look like Wells Fargo. You don't look like Visa. You look like a guy named Joe I know. Nobody's ever come forth and tell me I owe a debt. Who's going to say it?
You're right.
I never get divorced. Waste my time. What's the point?
Yeah, that's how I feel. But, there's always these benefits that you get. And then my friends would say, you got to do that because if you meet a nice guy and you marry him and you can't get his benefits.
Well, no, like I said, what's the point? If they want to go get a piece of paper and go get married, let them do it. I don't.
Yeah, I will never again. This is it. I understand now what it's all about, but
paper,
I did it back in the day.
Right. Paper doesn't make the person love, honor, and obey you in debt to your part. A piece of paper isn't going to guarantee that. You try to wave that at a cop and say, look, he said debt to his part and he's gone, so I want you to arrest him. They'll just laugh at you.
Yeah.
It's like he breached the contract, it says the debt to his part, make him come back to me. They'll just laugh at you.
Wonderful.
But if somebody took your car, if you had a license for your car and registered your car and you registered your marriage and you have a license for marriage and somebody steals your car, a cop will run right out there and go get your car and bring it back for you. Right. But he ain't going to get your husband and bring him back for you. And say, well, wait a second, I registered and I'm licensed. Why don't you go get him and bring him back? So it's like they do when they feel like it and they don't when they don't feel like it. So what's the point? Yeah.
We just need to get your confidence. You really have that don't mess with me attitude, and that's what we need. It's just like you have equal right and standing, and when a person speaks to you, they just know you do not, we have that inferior, scared of authority thing going on, and that's a mind control thing that's gone for years, you know.
Well, Gus will tell you that I got that certain je ne sais quoi.
Okay, thank you so much, Karl. Can I just ask you one more question that's a different subject?
Oh, Gus speaks French. That's why I'm messing with him.
Okay. I had a court case against an ex-employer that owes me $28,000 for commission and stuff. And I got a judgment from the court where they've given it to me. But I have to now go and collect it. My lawyer will no longer go and try and collect it from him.
I don't know why. So you're trying to collect $28,000 from somebody from past sales commissions, and they haven't paid you yet?
Yes, but I got the judgment. I won the case in the court. I've got the judgment against him. But now my lawyer called me and said, we're no longer interested in collecting. You must get another collection company or another lawyer to collect for you. So I just wanted to know if that is, can I do it myself, or should I just go with another legal man?
That's when you get the warrant in debt, where you could have a police officer, the sheriff's department will go to his house and actually take that much money out of his house, or you could do a lien on his property.
Yeah, and the thing was, the guy...
you could garnish his salary, right.
He covered himself like neck deep into corporations, so he's never used his own name. It was always that fiction. So can I still go after the man?
But like here in Virginia, I'm telling you, here in Virginia, I don't care if I'm incorporated, I'm telling you, the sheriff's department's going to come into my house, and they're going to take everything out of my house, and they're going to auction it off until it comes out to $28,000. And when they take everything out of my house and they auction it off for 15 cents, I still owe the $27,999.85. So
Okay.
no, you get a warrant in debt. Why don't you just go study what a warrant in debt is